Hey guys, we are on the square in Lawrenceville at the new office, and we are getting ready this next week to restore some of the old brick. And I have some granite right here. This granite was from a horse stable across the square, and they were just going to simply throw it away. So I wanted to get it just to kind of preserve the history a little bit. We're going to take the granite, and I've never really been happy with this brickwork right here that we did. It just doesn't match up. It's a little bit too new looking. So I think what we're going to do is take all of this newer brick out and replace it with the granite. But really the reason we are doing all this is because of the brick. We've opened up a hole in the wall right here, and we did that because I'm having a terrible time with this rising damp. We've talked about rising damp in the past, where the water wicks up from the soil below. And about a week or so ago, we had a lot of rain, and it was really, this wall was really wet. So what we've done is we've opened the wall up, and you can see here the wall had gotten so wet that down here at the bottom we started to get some mold. If you remember, I put a product in the wall that was supposed to create this damp-proof course that would not allow water to come up into the wall, and it really just made the problem worse. I think what's happened is the florists next door, they keep their air really cool at about 62 degrees, so it's low humidity. This is a solid brick wall. When you made this wall, you had 3 layers of brick. So on the other side of the wall, it's very cool, and in here last week, it was 75% humidity. So we had what I think was some condensation on the bottom of the wall, as well as the moisture coming out from the soil underneath. And with this wall staying continuously wet, we had this mold to form. And it's sort of interesting, when I ripped out the floor joists right here, there was mold on the floor joists. Now, these floor joists were underneath. There was a growler in the space, and they were underneath his coolers. So I thought that his coolers had just kind of leaked at some point and gotten wet down in the crawl space, and that's what had caused the mold. But I think what had happened is he was having rising damp as well when he was in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're going to replace all this brick. You can kind of tell the difference in the brick. It's kind of the darker brick that really looks eroded, so all this through here will replace, and then we'll actually come up through here as well. It gets a little bit better up on this side, but we'll probably come up to this point right here. So yeah, that's what a 100-year-old brick wall looks like. You can see right here, they just stacked up the old bricks, and it's sort of interesting. This was done in the 19-teens. So just imagine the people that installed this wall, what the square was like then, and all the change that's happened over the years. But you can see what they did is they just went out and stacked the brick up. This mortar again is just lime, sand, and water, and over time what has happened is the color of the clay bricks leach out into the mortar and turn it the same color as the bricks. You can see here, this is where we went in some of the newer mortar, like right in here where we went in and tuck pointed and we shoved mortar back in there. So this brick right here, he'll come out and we'll put some, they're going to be older bricks, but they're going to be bricks that are stable. What happens is the water over time, when it gets into the brick, it leaches out all the minerals, and it's like the brick just will not stay together. It just continues to crumble. And we've talked about that over time. Look right here, you can even see some water droplets right there that have dripped out from the wall. It's a little, you can see a little bit of the shininess on the wall. There's still some moisture in this brick, even though it hasn't rained in probably 4 days. So that would make me tend to think that it's some condensation that's happening. What's happened is it's the same way as when you have a cool drink on a hot summer day. The outside of the glass gets condensation on it. So I think that's kind of what's happening, and it's on the lower portion of the wall because the wall at the bottom is cooler since cold air sinks. But what we'll do is we'll replace the bricks. We're going to get down the crawl space, and we're going to actually create a some sort of damp proof course somehow by putting something in the wall. We haven't quite decided what we're going to do. I'm up here after work. Let's see what they did today. You can see the old bricks that they pulled out from the wall. It's kind of amazing the clay color the bricks are. They're probably just straight clay from the ground from 100 years ago. Here's some of the bags of sand and mortar that they're using. You have to do a special mix in order to get the color right. Yeah, you can see the wall right here where they've taken out the old eroded bricks and they put the new in. The mortar joints are drying. They're a little bit darker, but that's okay. They're doing a great job of really lining up the old bricks here. It's interesting to see how good a shape the interior of the wall is. The inside's been preserved pretty well. It's the outside that's eroded most. So yeah, that looks nice. They'll continue to work on that. I asked them to strike the joints so that they're a little bit concave and you get some of the edge of the old brick. I think that looks kind of nice, just kind of catching that edge right there and seeing sort of the tumbled surface. There's a great shot down through there. It's interesting. In this wall right here, yeah, you can kind of see the old mortar. What is this? Almost looks like some sort of bug droppings. Huh. Look at that, it's all in the wall. So imagine what's happened is these bugs have tried to come up from within the crawl space inside the wall. There's just a tremendous number of cavities inside the wall. It's a great place for bugs to be. It always makes you feel good inside a building. Luckily, they all look like they're dried and dead. The wall smells old. It's really kind of amazing. Got a nice old smell to it. Yeah. So there's the work for today. We'll keep going. The mason finished the wall today, and it really looks nice. I like how the joints are struck back from the face of the brick. That really accentuates the shape of these old bricks, kind of their beaten up edges. You can see here, this is a newer section that he just finished, and the mortar is darker. That's because it's wet and it's still drying. Now, we did mix up a special batch for this, so he could have mixed this one up a little bit darker too. But that's what's kind of nice in these old walls, is that they're patched and they've gotten beaten up over the years. You can see here we've got a patch from a crack that had happened, and the mason before went through and patched some of the mortar that had come out of the wall. What we're going to do next is we're going to work on this section of brick, and we're going to pull all of this orange brick out and replace it with older brick. We did this sort of quickly. I didn't like how it turned out. This was some new brick that was made in a class from a school in Charleston, and they actually fired the brick too soft, and so they were just going to throw the brick away. So we tried it here, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to go through and chip out all of this concrete. The concrete was put in there when they opened up this space to the space next door, and the more the mason and I talk about it, the concrete is just not that attractive, and if we take it out, then maybe we can get a little bit more of a consistent look. I think you'll still see the separation from the old wall to the infill, but hopefully it won't be as great a contrast. And then I've got an old beam that we pulled out of the floor. It's an old 2x10, and it's actually 2 inches by 10 inches, so it's nice and fat looking. And then I'm gonna take some of the old bolts that we pulled out of the old beams, and we're gonna bolt that 2x10 to this header right here. And I think that should look really nice. It'll match the ceiling wood and color and texture. So we're gonna work on that, and then we're gonna work on this back door as well. So we're gonna do the same thing here. We're gonna pull out all the concrete on the left, get all the bricks out of there, and go back and just sort of put the new bricks in, and then we're gonna try to get that wood piece out as well.